For more than 100 years, we've had this wonderful idea of the public library as the people's university, a place where literally anyone could go to learn. But what happens when the whole world goes digital, when learning can happen anywhere? How does that classic role change? Well, let's jump right in and see how today's libraries are completely reimagining what it means to be a center for education.
Okay, take a look at this, 73%. Just let that number sink in for a second. What do you think that represents? It's a huge number, and believe me, it points to a massive shift in what librarians do every single day.
Yep, that's what it is. Nearly 3/4 of library staff are now tech teachers. Their main job isn't just about finding books on a shelf anymore. They're on the front lines. They're the ones we turn to, teaching us how to use the tech that runs our lives. And, a fundamental shift like that brings up a really big question. How do you actually do that? How do you run the People's University when your students could be anywhere in the world? How do you create a classroom that has no walls? That is the big puzzle we are going to solve together today. So, the first piece of that puzzle is a pretty powerful idea. It's about completely breaking down those physical barriers. It's about taking learning way beyond the library walls. And the way they do this is through distance learning. You've probably heard it called online learning or e-learning, but it all comes down to the same revolutionary idea. You can learn what you want, when you want, from wherever you want. It's all about freedom and flexibility. But, distance learning isn't just one single thing. It really operates in two main flavors. First, you have synchronous learning. Think of that as real-time live interaction, like a Zoom class or a live chat where everyone's together at once. Then you have asynchronous, which is learning on your own time. That's stuff like watching pre-recorded videos or posting at a discussion forum whenever it fits your schedule. The best online courses, of course, use a smart mix of both. So libraries are tackling this with a really smart three-part strategy. First up is learning support, basically giving students who are off campus access to all those amazing databases and resources. Next, there's library instruction, where librarians are actively teaching people online. And finally, there's professional development, which is super important. The library staff themselves are taking online courses to make sure their skills are always up to date. All right, so if the learning is all happening online, where exactly is this classroom? Well, that brings us to our next piece, the library's digital classroom. And that digital classroom has a name. It's called a Learning Management System, or LMS for short. This is the central hub, the website where an entire online course lives. It holds all the documents, the discussions, the assignments. It's really the digital architecture for the whole thing. I'm willing to bet you've probably run into some of these before. You've got the big commercial players like Blackboard and Canvas, some great open source options like Moodle, and of course, platforms like Google Classroom that are used in schools all over the place. But here's where it gets really, really cool. Inside these digital classrooms, a totally new role has popped up, the embedded librarian. And this isn't just about sending an email with a few links. We're talking about active, hands-on participation. Seriously, the embedded librarian is a total game changer. They're right there, inside the LMS, chatting with students, posting research guides, dropping in tutorials right when you're starting to stress about a paper. They show up at the exact point of need, offering their expertise right where the students are already working. It's brilliant. Okay, so we've covered the method, distance learning, and we've got the location, the LMS. But what are the actual gadgets and gizmos? What are the high-tech teaching tools these modern librarians are using? And this quote from Erin McCoy just hits the nail on the head. She says students are so used to technology that even something as simple as a Google search becomes a teachable moment. It's a chance to step in and teach them how to find information that's actually reliable. So, her toolkit is a perfect example of what a modern librarian uses. We're talking interactive whiteboards for when people are in the building, custom-made online tutorials that teachers can just drop right into their courses, using Zoom to connect with colleagues, and one of my personal favorites, screencasts. Let's zoom in for a second on two of the most powerful and flexible tools in that kit. Good old presentation software and these things called screencasts. So first, you have your foundation, right? Tools we all know, like PowerPoint or Google Slides. They're the workhorses for organizing information and making it look good. And then you have screencasts. This is where a librarian records their computer screen, usually with their voice walking you through it, to create these amazing little video tutorials. They can show you exactly how to navigate a tricky database or use a specific research tool. It's like having an expert looking over your shoulder, 24/7.
But here's the pro tip, the secret sauce to making a really great screencast. You have to keep it short, and you have to keep it focused on just one single task. That way, students can find the exact answer they need in 2 minutes instead of having to scrub through a 45-minute lecture. It's all about respect for their time. So when you start putting all these pieces together, the new platforms, the new tools, these incredible new roles, a really clear and powerful picture starts to form. You can just see how much their educational reach has expanded. It's not just about in-person instruction anymore. It's about providing crucial support to students who are miles away. It's even about training other teachers and staff members. They're truly teaching everybody, everywhere. And that brings us right back to where we started. The library absolutely is still the people's university, but it's not a single building with 4 walls anymore. It has evolved into this incredible, decentralized digital hub that meets people exactly where they are. So that leaves us with one final big question. As technology like AI gets better and better at giving us instant answers, the librarian's role as a human guide, as a teacher who shows us how to think critically, is more important than it has ever been. So, with that in mind, what do you think is the next frontier for the People's University?